All right, there you go. Okay, guys, welcome to today's Wednesday's midweek review. Today is the 17th of August, 2022. So we're already in more than mid-month or middle of the month already, and it's approaching ending of August and ending of the summer seasons here in Cyprus as well. I mean, we still have got hot weather here. People are still swimming and stuff like that, but we've got more wind coming through. So talking about wind and windier, this is the same case in the financial markets. In terms of sentiments as well, we are looking at a windier sort of swing back and forth with several back and forth of between bullish and bearish and within a sideways type market for various markets or asset classes, especially with regards to crypto assets. We have got lots of geopolitical factors to talk about and things like that. But today is the midweek Wednesday's market review. So what I would intend to do from Friday onwards is to actually give you very clear signals. I would pre-analyze pre-selected pairs and instruments that I feel has got setups ready, and we can actually go straight into it as your trading signals. And I'll have that approach in all of my webinars, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays as well. So, and then we review the market accordingly after we have presented what's there in terms of trading opportunities as well. Okay, so with regards to Wednesday session, it's usually good for us to review your current trades, especially, or any questions, any challenges that you have actually gone through since Monday, or maybe stuck in a position and you're not sure what to actually do with it, and we can always discuss all that on Wednesday session. That's why it would give us good timing in the midweek to actually adjust your trade, tweak your approaches, or maybe just clarify the trend's direction, and we discuss and brainstorm positions that you have taken or you're thinking of taking, and also your current trading conditions and positions at the moment. All right, so any questions first? Maybe you guys want to ask some questions regarding your current trade, or any trades and trading opportunities that you have spotted and you want to clarify and then talk about it. Any questions from your end before I talk about GBP JPY? Because today is going to be a very short session, so I want to get straight to the point with certain pairs and give you clarity as well as revision on what we have talked about on psychological numbers and various other things. All right. Hi, Toby. Okay, so we've just started anyway, so I've just opened the floor for questions if you guys have, especially with regards to your current trades. Any questions, guys? No? If not, I'll just carry on with the GBP JPY that we have analyzed on Monday. All right. Questions? No questions yet. All right. So let's talk a little bit about GBP JPY, because there were some techniques, strategies, especially with regards to psychological numbers, support resistance zones based on opening and closing prices of the candlestick body, right? Especially mother candles. So I use mother candles a lot to actually draw out my zones of buying power, selling power, and things like that. And then I marry them up with price action through the knowledge of psychological numbers, especially. And the psychological numbers, as I've mentioned, are usually or only used to enter and exit the market, right? So it's not for stop losses and all that. It's for TPs and your entries. Okay. Welcome, Papilo. How are you doing? All right. We've not started a lot, but we've got this session recorded as well. So definitely for all members and traders, clients of 10 Trade, you'll get sent all the recordings as well, right? So don't worry. Okay, so activate your live account, and once you activate your live account and attend all the webinars with me, you are already undergoing the whole mentorship program, because the mentorship program is very much practical, and I'm giving you bits and pieces of certain skills, techniques, strategies, approaches to the market that you can add on as tools, as extra, benefits to your current trade, also added on to your current strategies as well. All right. Okay. So with regards to GBP JPY, now we're just taking it as a sample as well of what we've analyzed. You guys can see that this is the daily chart that we are looking at, and we go on to the 1 hour chart as well. You can actually take a look at how prices have sort of bounced up and down, and basically respected the lines that we have actually drawn. So the lines that we've actually drawn are blue lines or red lines. The red lines represent usually, I would color code it as resistance lines, and then the blue lines would actually be my support lines. Now, these support resistance lines are usually I draw them based on psychological numbers, based on opening and closing prices of mother candles as well, and also zones drawn basically based on the wick and the highest or lowest body of the candle, the opening price and the closing price. So when I draw support resistant zones, I would prefer to draw rather than support resistant lines. So no single lines I draw. I usually draw at least two lines to mark a zone as opposed to just a level. Okay. And psychological numbers, just as a revision, you guys know now that we have got 4 sets of psychological numbers based on the last 2 digits of the price, especially for currencies. Now we use psychological numbers mainly for currency pairs as well as oil. Now trading oil, whether it's WTI or even the how we call that, the Brent oil, we could use. We have seen that the psychological numbers work quite well with oil trading as well, right? Okay, so that's quite good, and we've used that. So what has happened so far? If you look at the 1 hour chart for GBP JPY alone, we have got sort of a lateral horizontal resistance, all this area here. Look, this is a very, very, very clear. So it's already marked off with some very, very significant resistance level right there. You can see that these touch points here, right, based on highest body as well, and then you draw another line on the highest wick right there, right? So this itself has been proven to be quite effective in drawing a zone as opposed to drawing lines of whether it's resistance or support. So here itself, we have got the sellers and resistance zone sort of monopolizing this area. So this is quite it's looking on the 1 hour chart, quite a tough break for a resistance zone right there. So this one here has headed lower already based on the 1 hour chart. Now the let me just check the price is 163.00 is the current price. So at the moment, GBP JPY is exactly bang on the psychological level of 163.00. So how I use the psychological level for entries and exits, also to know whether or not you should be trading, entering the trade with that current price or anything close to the current price, right? So at this moment of time, if I am looking at a price and the price is either bang on a psychological level, because if it is versus the JPY, you're looking at the psychological level after the decimal point, right? So if it is 163.00, that 00 is your psychological level. And coincidentally, it is trading at a psychological level at the moment, and it's quite a major psychological level, which is 00. So at this moment of time, what I would like to share with you is whether or not to make that very split second decision in either entering that trade or not. Now, in this case, because it's so close to psychological level, to a psychological level, which is a 00, I wouldn't want to actually enter the trade unless it goes lower by 10 pips off the psychological level, right? So if you are thinking of selling, it's probably best for you to sell 10 pips under the psychological or the closest psychological level that you can actually spot, right? So in this case, 16300, right? So 00 is closest, is trading anywhere between that numbers right there. So 0.00. So 00 is your psychological level that is the closest, or it's trading exactly on the psychological level. Also, it explains why it reverses at that area right there, because it was too close to a psychological level. So that would actually just maybe stop you or slow you down in just entering that trade straight away. So it's best for us to also use the psychological levels that you can actually see as an alert system for you not to actually enter the trade just yet, right? So again, one more time, if we want to actually enter a trade for a sell, it's probably best for us to enter a sell only if prices gone down at least 10 pips under the psychological level. So in this case, once it has gone to 162.90, then it could actually signal us that more sellers are coming through, pulling down the price. Now, if it is a buy scenario and you are thinking of buying, then the ideal price would actually be 10 pips above the closest or the psychological number that you can actually see, right? I hope that is clear. But don't worry, we have got videos and courses that will touch on all these techniques and explain to you in real scenarios as well, in real life markets, okay, for various instruments, especially currencies and also oil, right? So this is actually a very, very simple technique that basically would cut your risk by at least 30-40% already in the first instance. And it actually, I mean, prevention is always better than cure, right? So it prevents you from hastily entering the trade as well when you look into price action based on psychological numbers. I hope this helps you guys, all right? So if you guys remember, I've asked you guys to do an experiment on your life account, your existing life account. I've asked or suggested that you guys look into all your losing trades on your life account and look at the entry and exit prices, right? So it could also be that these losses are caused by your entry a little bit too fast, too soon, because the price reversed very close to psychological level. So usually, see, like the one, this line right here that marked one of the resistant areas right there is at, let me just see, I need to go close by 163.54. The other one is 163.89. So you see, the first one is within 10 pips of the 50 psychological level, and the other one is within 10 pips as well, on the 80 psychological level. Okay, so hence the reason you see when we do the zoned sort of alignment or drawing of the lines based on highest body and the highest wick, like the one here that we can actually see it quite obviously. It usually, or maybe 80% of the time, 70-80% of the time, would also coincide or coincidentally get plotted on within 10 pips of the psychological level that's closest as well, the psychological numbers. All right. So that's why we want to mix these techniques as well for entry and exit onto your current strategy as well. So it's got no harm to actually use these little strategies to polish up your entries and also your exits, right? Okay, so any questions so far, guys? You guys got the whole idea now on psychological numbers? I'm giving you little puzzle pieces that you can actually then be able to see a bigger picture. But of course, you can apply it onto your current strategies as well. But it's really important for me to me and Toby to guide you guys on how to actually follow the sequential steps of the price trade plan as well. So all your own strategies, mine that I share as well, little techniques and little pointers can all be inserted into that template or that step-by-step guide of that price trade plan. Okay, so it's a very flexible one, but it's just to keep you onto a standard operating procedure path, right? Okay, questions, guys. Any questions? I don't have much time, but I think it's probably best for us to deal with your questions for now. You can also go on to Action Forex very quickly to look at what's been going on in the markets. So top 10 movers, for example, on currencies. I've got lots to share as well on Friday on geopolitical factors on cryptocurrencies, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum. We've also got some nice setups that I will pre-draw and prepare for you guys so that when Friday comes, day after tomorrow, we'll get straight onto trading opportunities first, and then we do it we reverse engineer the webinar where we actually be doing the market review or to look at the sentiments and to pick out the cherry pick the trades and all that as a revision thing. But we'll start off straight away on all the webinar sessions from Friday onwards, going into trade ideas, trade signals, and trade ideas. So they are a big difference between trade ideas that I release and trade signals. Okay, so trade signals are those trade ideas that I have myself traded on or thinking of trading or have set up my pending order for. Trade idea would actually be just an idea or a suggestion, but it may not be the pairs that I'll be looking for or I'll be trading, just only because of personal what do you call that, preferences. Sometimes I've got enough trades already open for myself, so I don't want to add on too many more. But then for those out there who are freshly starting their day and they want to trade, that's hence the reason I'm giving out as many trade signals and trade ideas. Trade signals are those that I have picked out to be having a high probability, low risk to follow and trade them. So this is how the approach is going to be on Friday onwards. Okay, all right, let's take a look very quickly on the top movers first. Get a little bit of an idea. From tomorrow onwards, we have got very interesting movements. I mean, I'm looking at some setups as well that I want to discuss with you guys on Friday. So we'll look at least 6 to 8 currency pairs ready, having some setups because I use correlations as well. And then we'll look at gold and silver, but mainly gold, and also both the Brent oil as well as WTI, right? And there are some requests on cryptocurrencies. We'll look at both BTC and Ethereum as well on Friday. So there are some setups that could be ready to go to trade on a short term as of Friday itself, intraday trade, and then we leave the rest for the week ahead. So then when we discuss the week ahead, we should be able to look at how the market has moved so far for the pairs that I have recommended to actually trade, and then we'll go over them. So then we will have fixed, minimum numbers of potential trade ideas and trade signals as well. All right, guys. So that will be how we will be approaching the webinars from Friday onwards. Okay, so top movers. Let's very quickly go on to top movers. On top movers itself, we can see that the market is not that clear in terms of the trend. I can see there is no 4 dots coming up too much. But I can see that it's predominantly dominated by Australian dollar, right? So we've got Australian dollar, loads of Australian dollar right there, and New Zealand dollar as well. And we've got top of the list itself, top 3, top 4 itself is dominated by Australian dollar crosses, and the first one being Euro versus Australian dollar, then followed by GBP and AUD. versus the USD and the GBP versus the AUD, right? Okay, so we've got a bit of a hint there, Australian dollar. So of course, we want to go back. I mean, we have gone through the economic calendar as of Monday, and we have identified some movements expected from high impact data releases of several countries, right? So here it's hinting us on Australian dollar right here on the top 10 movers. Let's also go on to the currency heat map. Let's take a look at what's been going on in terms of trend for certain pairs, certain currencies, especially the Australian dollar. Because Australian dollar, we can see that it's very mixed here. So maybe it has actually moved quite a bit from data releases, maybe it spiked on, but not giving us clear strong trends at the moment, okay, from the heat map that we can actually see. So we need to just forget about Australian dollar for a bit, and we want to discover whether or not we have got clear trends. Now, from the overall sort of heat map, we can see that most of the currencies on the left, or all the currencies on the left, seems to be stronger than the AUD, which basically gives us the hint that the AUD is experiencing bearishness. Yes or no, we don't actually know that as yet, but then we can see that AUD seems to be preferred currency to actually look at, all the Australian dollar crosses as well. Now, what we can also do is go on to the volatility chart and look at Australian dollar, and go on Australian dollar on the 4 hour plus a daily chart, and we can see and pick and basically get a hint of which other currency paired to the Australian dollar would actually give us higher volatility. And here is giving us the AUD versus JPY. So what I could also do is to just take a peek at AUD JPY and look at what's been going on. Now, on the 1 hour chart, looks like a fair energy drop. Okay, so there's some energy there given to the Australian dollar versus JPY on the drop right there, but I don't actually like the movement of the three lines. The three lines are indicating to me that it's moving sideways, so there's no clear trend actually, right? So if we go on to the 4 hour chart, and see that there's definitely some confusion in the market. When you see candles in between the three lines, when they are actually moving inside the tree line, not under all three lines or above all three lines, that basically marks some confusion, some potential reversal, but mostly confusion in the market. Maybe traders and investors are waiting, hold their trades, hence the reason there are a likelihood of prices going sideways as well, right? So it's not a pair that we could actually rely on for a strong trend analysis, right? So that has already been hinted in the heat map itself. So in the heat map itself, it's already giving us loads of confusion on the heat map, right? Okay, good. So that's basically it for AUD JPY. In summary, we're looking at no clear trend for majority of the currency pairs at this moment of time, right? So let's give it a quick check on what has been going on the economic calendar, right? Economic calendar right there. We've done a review on it. So on Monday, and let's take a look at Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, yes, we have got some high impact news as expected, but it revolves around the euro, the US dollar, the US dollar especially, have got very high impact news because it concerns the FOMC minutes, concerns the retail sales figures as well. And in the Eurozone, it concerns the gross domestic product or the GDP and some employment numbers as well. But the GDP is marked as most important. So we have got Euro, our eyes on Euro and USD crosses would actually be good for us to take a look at. Also because, the US, I think it's probably best for us to wait and see until the US market opens. Okay, so another couple of hours time, probably we will get the Euro USD as well moving. Okay, so I would think that the major crosses would actually be good to take a look at today. And I just want to have a very, very quick peek at Euro USD just for us to look at what has been going on. Now, daily chart, especially on the daily chart, is showing us a flow to the downside quite clearly on Euro USD. If we look at the 1 hour chart, we could see that the bias is still to the downside as well, and also the 4 hour chart. Then the daily as well as the weekly would actually give us more bias to the downside. But are we on for a correction as well is the question, for the time being from short term to medium term for the USD. Now it is trading at 1.0174, so it's quite close to the 80 psychological level. To the upside. So as it heads to 1.0170, then it could actually be giving sellers more chances, opportunities to enter the market because it's 10 pips under the 1.0780, 1.02780 psychological level. So 10 pips under the 1.02. 1.01, so 1.0170 would actually mark a better price for a selling to occur. But we need to do more analysis on the Euro USD, and we need to probably wait a little bit more until the traders from the US side of it, has opened the market with a bit of a momentum. Then we can actually take a better look at the directions. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm sorry that it's quite brief today, but please have your questions directed to Toby as well and myself, of course. But any questions, please do ask us in any channel possible. All right. So whether it is the GTI Telegram group of mine in our newly set up Telegram group that we are, I think, going to be setting up or have set up, and in any way possible, emails, questions on any channel, even on the 10 Trade or 10 Academy channel as well. Right. Okay, guys. I think that's all I have for you guys. Any questions? Quick and fast questions. Questions at all? No questions? Sorry, guys. All right, no questions. All right. If you guys don't mind, I'll end the session for today. Thank you very much, guys, for attending my webinar. So, like I've mentioned, questions, please direct them to both me and Toby, and we'll help you as best as we're able. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you very much. I've got a rush, and see you guys very soon again on Friday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.